What's up, y'all? My name's Caesar.
And I'm Martha.
Welcome back, for real, welcome back
Yeah.
to the 49th episode of In a Wider Screen, where,
Two idiots who know nothing about movies talk about movies.
Martha, I want to start off with something very special. So, it's been a few weeks since our last episode,
Yeah.
about 3 weeks to be exact. And I remember, I went back to the beginning of the episode, and I was telling you, Martha, we're at 98 subscribers. Let's get to 100. Martha, we are now sitting at 136 subscribers.
Boo! Boo! Why? We're not interesting.
You know
we
why?
Don't
Because
give anything
just to give credit to a specific video, we did do a theater reaction to Everything Everywhere All at Once, and that has hit almost 6,500 views.
bitch. Oh my god. 6,500 people saw me crying in the theater.
They saw you. Literally, the thumbnail is you and Brianna crying. I don't know if you can see on the. It's kind of hard to see, but
Yeah.
that's basically what it is. So,
Awesome. Love
to all the new
that.
subscribers, thank you so much. But I figured this is the first
Love,
time
love.
since we last talked, we crossed 100 subscribers. We're in the triple digits.
Wow. I don't
so
know
we want to
why.
say thank you. No, me neither.
Yeah. Thanks,
As you can
but
see.
why?
Why? No idea. But but we still appreciate it. So next week is our 50th episode special. So I guess that'll also be our 100 subscriber special too. Might as well make it both.
Okay. Yeah, I
So
guess
it's a
that does make
very
sense. Yeah.
momentous time for us when we've been the least active we've ever been since we started because
Yeah.
life is,
Again, why? Why do you guys keep
I don't know.
subscribing? We're terrible.
we're the absolute worst. But it's all good. We're here now. We're talking about a movie that was supposed to hype up a movie that came out at the beginning of the month. But that's fine. We did it with the last movie too, so it's whatever.
But it's fine.
It's
we're,
fine.
We're trucking through.
But speaking of which, real quick, have you had a chance to see the Multiverse of Madness?
I did. I actually saw
Oh,
it the week
cool.
it came out. Funny enough.
Oh, okay, cool. I saw it opening weekend as well. Nice.
Yeah, never been done before. I saw it. I took my 5-year-old niece. Needless to say, half of the movie I had to cover her eyes. Poor
That
thing.
might have been the worst Marvel movie to take a 5-year-old to.
She did not like it. Not
Yeah.
one bit. I was like,
There were
I'm
parts
sorry, I didn't know this was a horror
under my
film.
skin. Yeah, for sure.
So that was fun. For
Did you like
sure.
it?
Yeah, I liked it. Is it my favorite Marvel movie? No.
Nah.
They took a different art directions, plural. And I understood why, like the why behind it. I just personally wasn't a huge fan of it. But
Yeah.
I won't say that I completely disliked the movie. I thought it was pretty good. It just wasn't.
That's
my
honestly about how I felt about it. To be honest, I think since I left the theater that day, the more I think about it, the less I like it. But I think it's I don't think it's one of their worst, but I don't think it's very middle of the road Marvel for me, for sure.
Yes, very middle of the road,
especially
absolutely.
not to give a lot away, but when I was rewatching this first Doctor Strange, I realized how much more I liked the first one to the new one.
Yeah.
Which was kind of disappointing.
I by far like the first one a whole lot better. It's been a while since I had seen the first one, so I was kind of going back into this and I don't even remember half of this stuff
Oh
happening.
yeah, for sure. I felt the same way. I mean, we'll get into that for sure. Real quick
Yeah.
though, before we do, quick question for you, Martha. What can you hold in your right hand but never in your left hand?
What can you hold in your right hand but never in your left hand? With your fingers.
You can't hold your fingers in your left hand?
Oh wait, no, you can't.
You can.
Okay, hold on. Second guess is what can you hold in your right hand? Your fate. If you had the chance to change your fate, would ya? Just kidding. We're doing Brave today, guys.
That could be. You know what? Now that you say, I would be open to doing that because I don't even know if I've seen that movie's entirety. I feel like I've seen parts of it,
It's
and I didn't really
good.
care for it, so I just never watched the whole thing.
I really liked it. I thought it was
Maybe I did watch the whole thing. I just don't remember. So I'm gonna consider myself never having seen the whole thing. Okay. Anyway,
You
that'd be good. We'll write that down. That's weird. Anyway, Martha, the answer is your left hand.
I was close. I was so close.
Honestly, when you said fingers, I was like, "Fuck, she's getting there." Like she's so
No.
close. Was
No,
so
she
far.
did not get there. Oh, damn it.
She was so close,
so
but she
close.
did not get there. Not quite.
No, but not quite. Close, but no tomato.
No, exactly. One more thing I wanted to ask you. We kind of briefly talked about Multiverse of Madness. Did you watch anything else recently that you wanted to shout out?
I have. So
It's been a minute, so I hope there's
yeah,
something.
it's been some time, and I feel like I have definitely watched movies in between. I think most of them have been like re-watches of movies that I've
Sure.
already
Yeah.
seen before
Yeah.
that
Yeah.
are like
Yeah.
my go-to re-watches. But most recently, the last
Oh
thing I
God.
saw was Chip and Dale Rescue Rangers.
Dude.
So, yeah, have you
I
seen
haven't
it?
seen it. No, I haven't watched it yet. Because to be honest, I should have mentioned this to you. I wanted to do it like for the podcast pretty soon.
I'll watch it again. I don't mind.
Okay,
So,
totally.
okay,
I haven't seen it yet though. No,
I will
it looks
say
funny.
I went into it. I talked about this a few episodes ago when I first saw the trailer. I was like, "This is going to be the movie of the year." Funniest thing I've ever
Did it
seen.
make your most anticipated
It
list?
didn't because I found out about it after I made the
Oh, right,
list.
right, right. So I was like,
So
yeah.
yeah, so I went in with like very high expectations. I wouldn't say my expectations were completely met, but they were like it was still funny. Like I still
Yeah.
enjoyed it. Really eye-opening like how much of a grasp Disney has on like getting the rights to so many freaking characters
I
and
did
like
get one
it is
character spoiled
insane.
for me, like through TikToks, and I was like, fuck, I wish I would have seen Ugly Sonic for the first time, like in the movie.
Oh,
I was like,
yeah.
that is amazing that they got that in the movie.
There was that. There's just like there's just so many background characters and you're like, "Oh my God, that's how did but that's not Disney, but that's not Disney."
I guess it's
And
a lot
you
like what they did for Roger Rabbit, like kind of
yeah,
that thing.
their
Yeah,
lawyers were working overtime
I'm
on this
sure.
movie.
I'm sure.
But it paid off. I certainly think so. I mean, I think it was good.
Okay.
But yeah, other than that, I've been mostly watching like TV shows and catching up on the books that I'd put aside for like my summer reading list.
Oh, you do that
So,
still?
yes, I do.
Power to
But
you.
yeah.
Could not be me. I get you. Okay. I'm trying to think what I've seen recently. I saw two movies in theaters this weekend, so I can talk about those. I saw Top Gun Maverick Friday night. Thought it was great, dude. And this is coming. I like the first Top Gun. Like it's pretty good. This one like blows it out the water. Action's great. Like it almost made me want to be a Scientologist. That's how good it was. Loved like Tom Cruise. Like that's so it's so good. Anyway,
Okay.
and
I
then
was
today,
like, I'm not gonna lie, I've never seen them before. So you could have like stuck with like the whole Scientology being like part of the movie, and I would have totally believed you.
oh no. I only just it was a Tom Cruise show. That's all. And then I did see today. I watched the movie Men.
I've been
Is-
meaning to watch that one.
It's a movie, man. So I don't know if you've seen Ex Machina or Annihilation before. Those are director Alex
Ye-
Garland's two other movies, and I
I
think
think
they're
I've seen
both
Ex
really
Machina.
good. Okay.
Yeah, I think I saw that one.
I love Ex Machina. I really like Annihilation, so I was excited for this, and I liked this movie. It starts off with a really creepy sense of atmosphere, and then at the end just goes bonkers.
Oh
And
wait, hold on. I don't know what this movie is. I thought it was a different one.
what other movie? Is there another movie called Men that I haven't heard of?
No, I was thinking Gentleman.
Oh, The Gentleman. Oh, you would
Yes.
like that movie.
I would love that movie. My brother recently saw it and he was like, "You got to watch this movie." And
That
I'm
would be
like,
a
"I
good.
know."
That would also be good for. Okay, I gotta take note of these because these are good episodes to do. Anyways, Men. Yeah, this is it's a movie. So, but you don't know what it is. But check out the trailer and see if it's A24. If that tells you anything,
Okay, so I'm either gonna like extremely love it or really hate it.
it's either gonna be Everything Everywhere All at Once or X for you.
Yeah, no, because
When
that literally is. I've never seen an A24 movie where I've
That
not
you're just
come
mixed
out
about.
thinking, yeah, where I'm like,
Yeah.
oh, it was good, like or it was like, eh. No, it's either like I will never watch this movie again. It just scarred me for life, or like, oh my God, this movie changed my life. It was so good. There's never an in between.
I totally get that.
Yeah.
So I feel like I feel like this one will be on the other end for you, but we'll see. Who knows? Maybe you'll
Wait, which one? There's two.
the Scar Me for Life one.
Oh man, I
But
don't
we'll
wanna
see.
watch
We'll
it.
see.
I've seen
We'll
too
see.
many of them. I'm done.
We'll see. We'll see. Anywho, we did see a good movie though for this week's podcast. We were talking about Doctor Strange. This is actually the first MCU movie we've done on the podcast, which is very
Really?
exciting. Yes, and there's 28 of these things, so
Jesus Christ.
we got a lot. But just to introduce the film real quick, this is co-written and directed by Scott Derrickson. Most notably a horror guy. So he did this movie called Exorcism of Emily Rose, which I've never seen. He did Sinister, which I have seen. I really like Sinister. And then he did one called Deliver Us from Evil. His next film was actually going to be Multiverse of Madness, but he left over creative differences with Marvel. And then that's when they brought in Sam Raimi. But now his next movie is going to be The Black Phone, which comes out next month. Yeah. The one with Ethan Hawke.
Yeah.
Which looks pretty creepy. I'm looking forward to seeing it.
If we do an episode on that one, I have the perfect hat for it. I'm so excited.
No, we're not doing that. Absolutely not. Pretty great cast here too. I'm just gonna ignore. This has Benedict Cumberbatch, Chiwetel Ejiofor, Rachel McAdams, Benedict Wong, Mads Mikkelsen, Tilda Swinton. Like a lot of fucking Oscar players. Like good fucking cast. Released November 4th, 2016. I can't believe it's been that long already since it came out. $165 million it took to make, and it made $678 million worldwide. On Rotten Tomatoes, 89% critics, 86 audiences. And at the 89th Oscars, it was nominated for Best Visual Effects. Did not win. It lost to The Jungle Book that year. I remember that. The live-action Jungle Book. You remember that movie?
Yeah.
It was a movie.
Can I give a spoiler for
The Jungle Book? Oh, no. Okay, never mind. Quick synopsis for you. No spoilers, fool. After his career is destroyed, a brilliant but arrogant surgeon gets a new lease on life when a sorcerer takes him under her wing and trains him to defend the world against evil.
Wow.
Good shit.
It's pretty straightforward.
I think it's, yeah. I mean, it's pretty accurate, I would say. When did you watch this for the first time?
When did I watch this? When it first came out. Yeah.
You saw it in theaters?
I saw it in theaters.
Oh, okay,
yeah,
cool.
I saw it in theaters.
I saw it in theaters too.
I might have been a few weeks late, like I usually am, but I saw it in theaters.
Actually, yeah, this was a Marvel movie I did see a few weeks after it came out. Yeah, for sure.
Okay. Yeah.
And that's the only time I had seen it until now. I had not gone back to rewatch it since then.
I've watched it once, or maybe once or twice.
Yeah.
During like a Marvel marathon.
Yeah, that makes sense.
But besides that, I've never been like, you know what I really want to watch? You know what I'm like really craving right now? Doctor Strange.
Doctor Strange.
No.
It wasn't that wasn't the one. If I want my Marvel fix, I'll put on Infinity War. I'll put on like Thor Ragnarok, Black Panther, or something like that. Yeah, something like that. Or Guardians of the Galaxy. You know, it was never quite Doctor Strange for me.
Yeah.
But I think that might change a little bit for me now because I liked this more than the first time I saw it. Which I don't really remember how it was 2016 this came out.
Yeah,
it's been so long.
My brain was.
It didn't stay with me very long after that.
No, not even like a quarter maybe of the way developed.
Something like. I honestly, now that I think about it, this movie came out right around the time we first met. If you think about it.
Yeah. So like really stupid decisions.
You were making clearly stupid decisions by accepting me into your life. So clearly,
exactly my point.
Anything from that point, just was just kind of a wash.
True.
But yeah, I actually I was watching this thinking like, damn, I really like this movie, and I'm not gonna say it's like one of Marvel's peak movies, but I think it's like a lot better than. I would say it's better than the middle of the road movies. You know what I mean? Like it's like if we had to go by tiers, it'd be like let's say you have an S. Like I would say we should do a tier list.
That could be a fun episode.
We should do a Marvel tier list. That'd be dope. I would put it like between A and B for Marvel. You know what I mean?
Okay.
Something like that.
Yeah, I'd stick this in a solid high B, I think. Yeah.
Okay.
I wouldn't say I have a whole list of other Marvel movies I think that I would put above this one. But that's not to say it was a bad one. It was good. It just, it just didn't, I don't know, something about it just doesn't tickle my fancy the way the others do. So
I get you. Well, we can get into that. Let's just get into the movie.
Before we do that, I would like to discuss my costume for today.
Okay, and also spoilers.
Oh, also spoilers. Thank you. Yeah. So
go ahead.
I didn't have a cape, but
I was wondering, are you supposed to be Christine?
I have scrubs from Grey's Anatomy scrubs, and then I have the time turner from Harry Potter. So I figured this is
it's pretty close.
It's a take.
You kind of did the little thing of both, which doesn't really make much sense. But,
I also have a stethoscope.
You see, we didn't really need that, but it's the effort is appreciated.
And a dog. She's underneath me
I
right
don't think
now.
there is a dog in Doctor Strange, but hey, I mean,
No, but there could
wait
be.
it. There could be. I'm sure there is somewhere.
You didn't see it. It was in the background.
Exactly. It was in the mirror dimension,
It
so
was the yeah. It was part of those like Easter eggs that are always in Marvel movies.
right, exactly. Let's start with the opening scene before we can get away from all this.
Good.
It already kind of starts off. I meant to say badass note, and I put it starts on a badass nose. With it's not what I
That's a
meant.
pretty badass
Badass
nose.
nose, bro. Come on, that's Doctor Strange. It starts off with a K. What the fuck is his name? Caecilius? Caecilius?
Caecilius.
Caecilius?
But
Sidious? I put
Kai-
Silius on my.
well,
Oh,
so that later on in the movie, Doctor Strange is making fun of him and is like Caecilius is what he was calling him, but his
oh,
name
that's
is
probably
Caecilius.
okay. I'm just gonna call him Kai because that's just easier to
Yes.
bring. Basically, he's fighting off the Ancient One in this opening scene for that book of spells that he wants. And we're already getting a look into all this shape shifting of the universe and the magic. And even though going into this movie, especially 2016, we had never seen anything like this in the MCU. So we're like, what the fuck is all this? Where's this coming
This
from?
is true.
So I thought that was a cool way to start it. Like they just kind of put you in the action,
And jump
kind of
right
like
in.
not the exact same way, but I remember talking about the beginning of Harry Potter, the opening scene. They were using like magic and stuff already, even though we hadn't an idea of what. And I like I'm starting to think that I like it when movies do that. That the first scene kind of jumps you into what you're gonna see in the movie, even though you don't
Yeah.
really know what it is yet. Which I think
Yeah,
that's a cool
I
way to
agree.
introduce.
If they can do it right and that it's like not just like entirely confusing, like you still
Yes.
have a general understanding of what is happening. Like, okay, big bad, good fight. And
Especially when
it is
she comes
going
out in
to
her big ass yellow robe and she's like shielded. She's like,
yeah, it's implied who is who. So that
Yeah,
makes more
right.
sense when you're jumping into it. So I don't think that every movie does that well, but I think in this case it does do it well.
okay, yeah, I feel that way too. Then after all that, we get Benedict Cumberbatch. He is now.
I call him that too.
You do? Nice.
Yeah.
He's the world's best doctor. He has this impeccable
And very
memory.
sassy.
Very sassy doctor indeed. Has an insane memory, not just of all the doctory thing he knows, but
The doctory thing he knows.
yes, but all these like music little trivia things he's spitting out, things like that. Just his memory's crazy. But what's crazier is his fucking ego, man. And they definitely get Tony Stark vibes out of this guy, and it seems like this is kind of the Tony Stark kind of person
Tony
of
Stark
this
of the doctor world.
of the doctor exactly.
Yeah.
Dr. Tony Stark. Yeah, that's what I would call him. So that's kind of what we're getting here. And then you meet Christine, which is Rachel McAdams. They're showing they have some kind of past there, but of course, Strange's ego and arrogance got in the way. So
He's
it's
very-
very destructive person, basically.
Self-destructive. If you were to look up self-destructive in a dictionary, Doctor Strange.
Strange.
So that's what it is.
That's what it is.
That's who we be.
So after the conversation, he's like, "You want to go to this? You want to go to this? What is it? A gala?
This gala.
You want to go to this gala?
Very
with me, bro?"
smart, but he
He can't. No speak.
he has no confidence.
No
when he
speak.
talks.
Exactly. He's like, you want to go? You want to go to the gala with me or
Do you
something?
want to maybe go to the
Do you want to? Do you want to go to the gala with me?
maybe?
Exactly. But he goes on his lonesome and he's looking on his phone, of course, like a dumbass, and boom, car crash.
Yeah. Not only he's driving like a maniac.
He is driving like a maniac
This-
too.
yeah,
That's
this-
not how.
Come on.
That does not help at all. But I really like the way they showed this when like it kind of like pans around the car in slow mo and he's going and the glass is like flying and everything, and then like the very brief shot of his hand injury and it's like
Oh.
nasty.
Yeah. Visual effects is definitely the strong suit of this movie in
100%.
in every way. So
I
like
will-
even down to these parts, yeah.
For sure. I will go as far to say still that I think this has the best visual effects in any MCU movie. I can't
Yeah.
really think of another one that there's obviously other ones that come close to it. Like I would say probably maybe like Infinity War or something like that. Or one
Yeah.
of those.
Yeah, I think so.
But I think this one like honestly I thought they held up really well like in this movie personally.
especially it's 2016, so like
For 2016.
I mean, like it's CGI is already established and stuff. but this is like
But I guess like
the entire movie.
right. And I would expect like the longer Marvel keeps making these movies, the better their visual effects are. And I saw I mean, personally, when I saw Multiverse of Madness, there were some shots in the movie I was like, oh, this does not look great. And I didn't really have that here. And for being 2016, like to still look better than movies they're making right now, 5-6 years later is kind of
which also
something.
kind of brings into the discussion. I don't know if you've seen the stills from She-Hulk. There have been like a lot.
I've heard a lot of discourse about the CGI in the trailer, but I did not watch the trailer.
Yeah, I didn't watch it either. I'm
very behind on the Marvel shows, so I'm just kind of like.
Yeah, me too.
I've only seen WandaVision.
Yeah, I haven't watched Moon Knight, and I think there's another one.
So there was WandaVision, then there was Falcon Winter Soldier, then Loki, then Hawkeye. Oh, and What If too, if you want to count that.
Okay, I've seen some of those.
Okay, and then Moon Knight. Yeah,
so then Moon Knight's the only one that I need.
And then Miss Marvel's coming out like next month, I think.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's so much stuff to watch, bro. Anyway, yeah. What were we talking? Oh, anyway, the visuals. I thought the visuals were cool. I actually saw they used 7 Lamborghinis for this car crash scene.
Lamborghini? Did they crash?
They crashed 7 Lambos.
Oh my gosh!
It hurt so much.
I don't even know anything about cars, but that still hurts.
I know, it really hurts me. I'm like. Yeah, it's a lot more brutal of a car crash than I remember, though. So I thought that was, I thought they executed it.
Yeah, I don't remember it being that brutal.
I was like, how did he fucking survive? I was like, I thought he just like crashed into the water or something, but it crashed into everything. It was crazy. So now he has these terrible injuries, and even after all that, he's like, I still could have done better.
He's still cocky, yeah.
He's still cocky, like, bro, you're
like, listen, you ruined yourself, okay? Because he's trying to be like, you ruined me, and it's like, no, sir, you ruined yourself.
You ruined your fucking self. You almost died being a dumbass on the road. Stop it. So he's constantly looking for solutions, going to different doctors, and they're like, we literally cannot do anything. We've done as much as we can. Like, there's nothing we can do. And he's just like, ugh. And then Christine somehow magically is still the one person in his life who gives a shit about him still. And even he pushes her away. He's like, fucking no, you just like want someone to take pity on. Like that's all you want.
She'll feel better. It's like, dude, come on now. Come on.
Look at you, bro. You cannot be like
you're in shambles.
This. You're literally in shambles. Your hands are shaking right now, bro. Like, come on. Like, come on, man. So then he's like, yo, I heard about this Pangborn dude.
Penguin dude? What?
Pangborn. Is that not his name? Benjamin Bratt?
The Penguin? No, that's Batman.
Which you did watch.
Unfortunately, yes.
Stupid. So he finds out from this guy. So when he's doing physical therapy, that the guy who's helping him was telling him about this guy who was paralyzed from the waist down, I believe, but then he suddenly could walk again. Something like that. So he finds about this guy. And Strange finds him, and he's like, "Bro, how'd you do this?" Like, blah, blah. And Strange, medical talk, blah blah blah. And then he tells Strange, like, "Yo, I went on a spiritual journey, man. Like, I went to go visit these holy men in the mountains, and they like fixed me, bro. Like, you gotta go to Tamar Taj, bro. Like, 10 out of 10. Like, head out there right fucking now, bro. Tell him I sent you." Yeah. So he's like, bet, I'm on my way.
Yeah, because he believed him.
He believed him. And he's like, at this point, he's like, fuck it. I got nothing. I literally exhausted all my solutions. Sure, why not?
And all of my money.
And all my money, which I don't know how the fuck he got there and knew where to go, but whatever. He gets there, though. As soon as he gets there, he gets his ass handed to him.
Little question here. Okay.
Yeah.
So he is in what I believe is India? Kamataj, I think, is that area.
I just assumed it was like eastern part of the continent. Yeah.
Somewhere in that area.
Mm-hmm.
Now, how often are you going to come across Americans who are also going to rob you? What are the odds of that happening?
Well, there's a lot of magical things that happen in this movie, so...
Little question I had.
I mean, I mean, I guess the magical part was inserting a little whiteness in there, so that definitely.
No, yeah, of course, obviously.
That's the MCU, so that helps. There you go. Basically, and then the watch I did so okay. Watching Multiverse of Madness, they like show that watch he's wearing a lot, and I completely forgot like what that watch even meant. And then I watched this
Yeah.
back, and I was like, oh. So Christine gave him this watch, and this watch is fucking wrecked now. And Mordo saves his ass to a Telegiforce character, and he's like, bro, I know you're here for Tamar Taj. Let me take you. Get on my back and
Kamatage.
let's ride. So they go to Martaj.
Kamatage. It's not that hard, buddy.
What was I saying? Why did I put Tamar?
Kamartar.
I don't know what the fuck I was saying. Anyway,
Kamatage.
it's not a real place.
All right,
Whatever.
sorry.
Whatever. It's a fucking comic book. Who gives a shit?
Hey.
He meets the ancient one, yo. And basically, the main message that she's been giving him is like, you're looking for like physical solutions, like physical matter, bro. It's not that.
It's all the mental love.
It's all the mental. It's
all
mental.
about the mental.
Love is mental. It's mental. Spiritual.
It's mental love.
You gotta tap into your spiritual love. It's all spiritual. This healing.
I wouldn't say I'm a super spiritual spirit. I can't even say it.
You can't even.
I'm not a person.
Right.
But I will say the mind is so freaking powerful. Like if you just
100%.
like tell yourself to just like not, then you just don't.
Dude, he's dumb. You know what I'm saying? Like
Yeah.
that's just like so crazy. So that's what she's. I mean, that's essentially what she's telling him. He's like, if you did out, then it's out. You know, that's it.
you don't want your hands to stop being like that.
Just
Make
tell
it
him,
stop.
just make it stop. Like, bro, come on.
Come on.
But it's all the healing here. It's all spiritual, and Strange is like, nah, girl, like.
I'm
nah.
a man of
And she's
science.
like, I'm a man of science. Like, I don't buy that bullshit. Put your fucking book away. I don't want to see this shit. And she's like, open your eye. And fucking this sequence,
I like
yo.
the sound effect.
This sequence, bro. It's literally all these years later, still one of the most amazing things I've ever seen in my fucking life.
It's very cool. It's very
It's-
trippy.
It's super trippy, dude. I remember seeing the scene in the theater, and it's like still one of the most. Like my mind was blown. I remember like looking at this and be like, "What the fuck?"
I need to look up a review of someone who's like seen this movie while like on acid or something.
'cause I
like,
felt
wanna
like I
see
was
what
on
their
something-
perspective is.
I'm sure.
Because I feel like they would freak out.
I wonder. Yeah, that was a good point. Because even watching it sober, I was kind of like overwhelmed by the. I was very overstimulated, in the
sure.
best way possible, for sure. And the cool thing is too on Disney Plus for some of the Marvel movies, they have like the IMAX version on there, so like, it expands whenever they shot those sequences. So this one was one of those, and you really see like the full scale of it all. It was super cool. But safe to say, once all this like happens, it really does open his mind because he's like, teach me. They're like, get the fuck out. We ain't teaching you shit.
Actually,
That's what you
no,
get for
I changed my
disrespect.
mind.
Actually, we changed our mind, bro. That's what you get for being disrespectful as fuck. So we're kicking you out. And even though they're still like not letting him in, he's still trying to get in. He's trying to get in. Then they're like, finally, well, fuck. I guess like he really wants to be here.
He's persistent.
He's persist. Oh yeah. And so I thought that was a good moment for Strange because this is like the first time in the movie that I think we're finally seeing him finally willing to learn from other people. Like the whole movie, he's seeing himself. He knows everything. He knows like blah 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 blah. Now he's
the
like
best of the best in everything he
now
does.
he's like
yeah.
So now he's like, teach me. Like
He
you know
is
more
now
than
the
me.
student.
He's now the student, which I like that for his character. I love the little joke when he finally gets in. He's like, "Oh, what's this? My mantra? It's the Wi-Fi password.
Wi-Fi
We're not
password."
savages."
I love that. Yeah.
Cool little joke. But speaking of the jokes, though, there was this one joke in the movie that was just like super fell flat for me watching it at home, and that's when he meets Wong, who ends up being his future bestie, even though we don't know
Besties
it
for the
yet.
besties.
Besties. But this whole joke about him, like his name's just Wong, and then it's like, oh, Drake, like, or like Adele. I'm like,
Beyonce.
Beyonce. I don't know,
But
because then they.
It falls a little flat, but I like that it carried on into that next joke, the next joke later on in the movie where you just see Wong and he's like listening to
When he's
Beyonce.
listening, I did like how they carried on to that for sure. But
Yeah.
this whole joke with the first name, they do in like two different scenes, and then like I felt like, okay, you know how sometimes when you know those sitcoms on TV where they tell a joke and there's like a pause so the audience laughs at the joke.
Yeah.
I felt the pauses in this, like it's
Okay.
like the pauses for the audience in the theater to laugh at them, and so it just felt kind of like unnatural, especially if the joke wasn't funny. I was like, okay, just this is it's good. Next scene, bro.
This seemed like humor that would suffice for the older people in the theater watching, who are just kind of like, yeah.
Yeah,
I don't know who those people are either.
Well, are exactly. He's like, huh?
Yeah.
You're like that's literally what it is for sure.
Yeah. So
No, yeah, you're right. But the whole point now with Strange is like, bro, you just gotta like lose control, stop thinking so much, like just don't stop questioning everything, like just let it happen. You know what I'm saying?
just gonna happen.
And so they're like, okay, you're not listening. We're
Let
gonna leave
it
your ass.
be. Sorry.
We're gonna leave your ass in Everest. Get out. Find your way out. Use your sling ring. Get the way. Find
Or
your way
you
out.
die.
Or you die. So they're just like, we'll take that risk. We're not responsible for what happens to
Whatever.
him.
You signed the contract, dude.
You
Like,
signed the contract, bro. You
can't
did.
sue
You
us
signed. You
'cause
signed
you're
NDA.
dead.
You signed NDA. We're good. But he gets out, and it shows. Okay, this dude's got something special. Like he not only is he potential to be great, but he starts learning everything fast as fuck. Like he's already reading on his astral level shit. Like he's picking up stuff fast. He's like, I'm teaching myself now. I don't need none of y'all instructors. Like fuck. Like my memory is on impeccable. Impeccable.
Impeccable. Absolutely.
And then the conversations they were starting to have, it made me kind of wonder like how crazy this is on the part of Marvel. I didn't realize watching it back how much they referenced the idea of the multiverse in this movie.
Yeah, that was another thing I picked up on, and I was like, they've really been building this up for a while.
built-
We just didn't
yeah.
even realize it.
I didn't even realize it because this is 2016, and obviously before this movie, I'm assuming this was no reference. And like finally now it's coming to fruition with No Way Home and obviously the Multiverse of Madness. And I think even Loki, I heard, touched on this a little bit too. Like it didn't come into fruition until like 5 years later.
Yes.
And I find that crazy that they've been building up for so long. But what are you gonna say?
I think there was a point where I had written down that it was sort of a continuity error of sorts when it came to the multiverse.
Uh-huh.
And I want to, I don't know if I have it. Sling ring. Oh, yeah. Okay. So he explains that the sling ring allows you to travel the multiverse.
Mm-hmm.
But you can't. At least not the way that we know the multiverse now.
Well,
Where it's like you can transport yourself from one place to the next within your one universe, but you can't go between other than like the mirror dimension. But besides that, you can't really travel to another multiverse. Otherwise, the entire plot of Multiverse of Madness would be pointless.
I mean, that does make sense because the only other big use of the sling ring that I remember is obviously No Way Home when Ned's opening up the portals for the other Peter Parkers to come in, but those Peters were already in their universe. That's how they would have come in. So yeah, I guess that makes sense.
So
yeah,
continuity error. That's what happens when you've been planning this out for what 6 years.
I don't think that's continuity. That's what's the word?
They weren't thinking that far ahead yet.
Yeah, I guess not. They were like, fuck.
Didn't have the full plan laid out. Yeah,
I guess not. I don't know. I've heard they've had mix-ups before with like years, like timelines. I've heard they like fucked it up before. I don't know if it was Homecoming or something. I'm like, but wouldn't like it has to be somebody's job at Marvel to like make sure everything's on track with the timeline, right? Like
yeah, but it's
somebody
still, like,
needs to like
hard to keep up with.
Yeah, but fuck that's their fault for making so many movies and TV shows now. Sure. Like they gotta have somebody down. Anyway.
Can't fight you there.
But he finds the time stone, which I just realized. Well, obviously, it's the first time we're seeing the time stone. It immediately took me to the craziest use of the time stone in Infinity War when fucking Thanos is like, bleh. Oh, there you go. Exactly what you're wearing right now. Not at all from Harry Potter or the Wizarding World or nothing like that.
It spins.
Thank you, Martha, for coming to show and tell today.
All right, I'm going. Bye, guys.
All right, bye. No, but we start to understand what the main conflict of this movie is. And that is that there's this big, powerful being named Dormammu. And Dormammu wants all the planets to like continue to power his dark dimension, but he specifically has his eyes on Earth. He's like, Earth, I want you. And this Kai guy, that's what he's trying to help him do. We don't know yet
Kai
why, but that's what he's trying to do.
Yeah.
Kai.
I'm not gonna lie,
Kaeya.
I completely forgot this entire plot line existed in the movie.
Oh,
Like I knew that Dormammu was a thing, I just didn't know what his point was. So watching it again, I was like, oh,
oh,
okay,
me
this
neither.
makes sense.
I had no idea either. I remembered
Yeah.
him. I remembered Kai. Like I remembered
I
the
didn't remember him at
characters.
all.
Really, I only remembered
Yeah.
him because it was Mads Mikkelsen,
Yeah,
and I remember Mads
it's
Mikkelsen was
still.
in the movie, but like still, I was just yeah.
Mhm.
Um, and then at this point, so the sanctums around the world are starting to get fucking wrecked. And Kai and his crew, they pull up to the New York sanctum, and it just starts doing some crazy shit. Like shapeshift and all this kind of stuff. And then we get some, my opinion, some pretty cool action with how things are able to work in this dimension. I think the action in this movie really took really good advantage of the space that the movie's
They,
working in.
yes, I mean, I would say like the whole second half. No, I think majority of the movie is just filled with fight scenes,
Yeah.
and what would normally be repetitive in any other action movie, they're able to keep it interesting every time
They keep it
because
fresh
of
and unique from each other.
yeah, they're able to because of they don't really have a whole lot that grounds them to just a regular fight scene. Like these are people who can climb on the walls and like fight between like different spaces. Like it's really cool the way that they're able to keep it updated and like it just doesn't feel repetitive ever. It's just cool every time you watch it.
Yeah, I definitely agree with that. At this point, Kai,
Silly.
he gives his little Kai like Caillou. Caillou gives his villain monologue at this point, and honestly, when he's explaining himself, he doesn't like. Obviously, he's batshit fucking crazy, but like, there's some logic to his reasoning, which I didn't expect because I remember a lot of these Marvel villains, especially early in the MCU, are a lot of throwaway. They're just there to just wreck the world, and you don't really know why they're doing it. At least he has a reason for it, and the reason kind of makes sense. It's kind of like a smaller scale version of what Thanos' reasons are later on, if you think about it. Like he thinks he's doing what's best for the world and for human. He's thinking about life and death and all of this philosophical shit, I guess.
Yeah. And at this point in the movie, I started making myself a panini. So I'm not gonna lie, there are parts that I'm kind of like, I watched them, but did I watch them?
Hey, that's totally fine.
Yeah.
Don't worry about that. Don't worry about
Just
that. It's not.
throwing
It's
that
not
out
important.
there.
He's just explaining why he's doing what he's doing. But don't worry
Yeah,
about it.
it was important to the plot.
Anyway, that's fine. No, it's fine. It's really no big deal. I will say though, obviously, I don't think his villain's like one of the best villains in the MCU or anything like that. And I think a lot of why I did overall like this character though is probably because Mads Mikkelsen's so good at what he does.
Yeah, I like him as an actor. I just think his character's forgettable.
I mean,
Honestly.
the character itself's forgettable, but he's not as forgettable as I thought he was. Because there's some villains, especially earlier in the MCU, that I don't even remember existed. And it's like now him, okay, like I'll remember he was in this movie,
Yeah.
and I'll give him credit for that. So I thought overall, I thought his villain was pretty all right. Which, considering the villains we've gotten, it's pretty like okay, he's in a good place in the MCU.
This is true. Well,
So that's I'll give him some credit for that. That's more than I can say for most of the villains. So I'll give him credit for that. Let me honestly, I was trying to think about this. I'm like I'm trying to I want to make the list. Maybe when we do the tier list of Marvel movies, we can try to guess if we can remember the main villain in each one of those movies. And I guarantee you, half of them we won't remember.
no, you will not.
We'll not remember.
Unless it's Helena. She's the only one I can remember.
She's the only one you care about.
She's the only one I'm choosing to remember, quite
That's
honestly.
true. Well,
so-
my favorite ones, just off the top of my head, are obviously Thanos. I loved Michael B.
Oh
Jordan.
yeah, the purple guy.
Purple guy. Michael B. Jordan, Black Panther is one of my favorite villains.
Oh yeah.
I would say early on the only memorable one was Loki.
Loki.
Loki,
My
yeah.
man, what's up?
What's
You
up?
gotta watch the show. It's actually pretty good. I liked it.
Oh, Loki, I do want to. I don't know, man. It's just so much content that I need to get around to it and like sit time. Especially, dude. So Stranger Things season 4 came out this weekend, and it made me realize I never watched season 3. So I'm like watching
I'm
season
on
3 right now.
Episode 4 currently.
Oh, okay. And then Obi-Wan came out.
Oh, I know. I'm so excited about that one.
And I haven't. Okay, the 5-year-old. Looked like he saw like a lollipop. I haven't finished the prequels, so.
Oh, my god. Okay, look, skip Phantom Menace. You don't need it.
Oh no, that one I saw years
one
ago.
needs it.
But that's why
Why?
I
Why
did.
is that the one you saw? Why is it the one that everyone sees and is like, I never watched the rest of them? It's like, get past the first one.
Because it was so bad that I didn't want to watch the other one, even though I know they're better. I know they're better.
Jar Jar
but-
Binks is like cut out of like half of the movie.
Okay, well,
like,
I will
it's
say
so much
well,
better.
The good thing is in Attack of the Clones, I'm like 30 something minutes in, and Jar Jar was in it for a little bit. I'm assuming we don't see him again.
Yeah, you see, like, there's maybe a total of like 5 minutes of Jar Jar. Thank God.
Yeah. And then I'm trying to get through Attack of the Clones, which honestly so far I don't really mind all that much. I'm really trying to get to Revenge of the Sith because a lot of people love that movie. So, and then I can get into Obi-Wan. So I'm excited. Anyway, Doctor Strange.
Doctor Strange. Sorry.
Also, while Caillou's talking, he starts describing how, Ancient One, you wonder how, like, she's been living forever and forever and forever? Yeah, she draws her power from the dark dimension.
She got secrets.
She got secrets. That bitch fucking lying to everybody. So Strange, through all that, though, gets himself stabbed. And he needs Christine's help to keep him alive. But she's like,
God,
bro.
he's a doctor.
Yeah, thank God.
She is about to stick a needle in his chest.
Oh, yeah.
And he decides this is a good moment to
Go
to
astral.
I go my astral form and be like, hey, so I don't mean to interrupt, and like don't expect her to freak out with a giant needle right next to your chest.
Mm-hmm.
What a dummy!
Yeah, he's not the smartest guy still
Not
at this
the
point.
smartest.
Especially because
as
he left
smart
the
as he
portal.
is.
Especially because he left the portal open.
Open the why was I gonna say curtain? Not curtain.
He left the curtain open.
He left the curtain open. No, the cape. The cape was like handling the guy, or at least like stalling for him.
Yeah.
He could have very easily just like whoop, and then close it up, get the medical attention he needs. By the time he gets back, curtain will already have been like.
He already got that
handle.
handle. He did his part exactly,
Yeah.
but no, he didn't do that. But I did like that though because when that guy comes through the portal and they have that whole astral fight, I think it looked really cool. Like
It was pretty cool,
I very much enjoyed watching that fight play out. And then once he defeats him, and then Christine finally understands what's going on, and the little broom falls behind her. I thought that was a funny little joke. What else we got? Okay, so he's got the cloak. We already talked about that. And at this point, though, Ancient One and Mordo are like, yo, shit's about to get real. Like, we need you to fight. We need you to stand up for the fucking, like, sorcerers fucking shit right now, okay?
For the sorcerer cult.
For this, exactly. But he's like, no, I don't want to fight, bro. Like, I'm a doctor. I save lives. Like, I just killed a guy. Like, I don't like killing people. Like, I want to save people. All this kind of stuff. I took an oath as a doctor. And then he goes after Ancient One. She's like, oh, you want to talk to me about controlling death, huh? You want to talk to me about... you want to talk about mothers.
Exactly. He's like,
And
I was still eating my panini.
every scene that you're like, yes, yeah. I know you didn't fucking watch.
I watched it. It was in the background. I trusted that I remembered enough, and then I realized, I don't remember this movie at all. But I did watch it. I
trust that you watched it. It's fine.
There are parts that I
just missing
more than
missing
others.
gaps. Right, I get you.
Yeah.
Missing gaps. It's all good. Yeah. Anyway, now they're like in this mirror dimension thing. These visuals are getting crazier and crazier. And at this point, now this fight, it looks like they're in Inception right now. It looks crazy as fuck, but it's super cool.
Cool.
And I was like I said, it's like it kind of goes back to your point about all these fights. It's like, even though all these fights have the same basis of like all this magic and shape shifting and this and that, and all multiverse and dimensions, like they're all super unique from one another in the way that they're staged and everything like that. So
the fact that it does include magic, because in that case, there's really no. I don't want to say stakes. Stakes isn't the word I'm looking for, but there's no rules to follow.
Yeah.
You know,
even though
like
they say their rules. They say the rules at the end. And everything.
Yeah, but you build the fight scenes and then you create the rules around the ones you already
yeah, exactly.
did,
So it's just
yeah.
It's like, even though they say there's rules, obviously there's not really rules here. It's just kind of like whatever. So yeah,
it looks cool.
I think it's cool to have a fight scene where there's no rules in terms of what you can do with the world physically and everything like that. Because you could just do anything and have fun with that space.
And that's what makes it so cool.
which is what I will say is one of my I don't want to compare this to Multiverse of Madness too much or anything like that, but that was something I was a little disappointed by. You hear the title Multiverse of Madness and you think, oh, first one was crazy. This one's gonna be even crazier with the. It's really not in a lot of ways.
No.
They don't. There's not a lot of Multiverse of Madness in that movie, and there's not a lot of fights with.
I mean, okay, there is a lot of multiverse of madness because there's a lot of multiverses and there's a lot of madness.
There is,
However,
but not in the way that
it's not the way that we.
not the way that movie like the first one would make you expect, or how Doctor Strange just continue to be used in these movies.
It seems like this is almost an entirely different movie.
Right.
I don't
This
know.
is like I enjoyed it still for what it was, but it's not in the way
It's
that you
not-
would expect Doctor
yeah.
Strange to.
But so here's my problem with that is that you can't necessarily say, oh well, this isn't my Doctor Strange because he's only ever had one movie to himself.
No. I get that. Yeah.
And so I'm just sort of like talking through my thoughts here. So it's like
Yeah.
I that's why I'm having such a hard time being able to like fully flesh out what I mean when I'm trying to compare these two movies, which are about the same character.
Even though the
they're
second one doesn't really feel
completely
like his movie.
different. Yeah, they're completely different. And they and I think the problem is because there's so much space in between those two movies and so many other movies that even
That
though he
he's
wasn't
been
the
in,
main
too.
character, he was
Yeah.
in it, and that had some effect on how it gets here. It just but if you were to like take a step back from all of them and just compare these two movies, it's like this is not the same movie. Do you get what I'm
Which
saying?
yeah, which
Yeah.
I'm good with. I don't want them to be like carbon copies of each other.
That's
You know what I mean?
true. But I also
Um,
feel like when it comes to making sequels, there has to be some sort of like
You need to feel like it's
synergy
part of
and-
the same DNA, kind of.
exactly.
Like
So
all this,
you gotta
okay, like the
have
Spider-Man
something.
movies. All three of them are different from one another, but they all still feel like Spider-Man movies.
They all still feel like Spider-Man movies. Yeah, and even though there's quite literally like how long was the blip? However long
like
that was.
5 years or something.
Yeah, so like the 5 years in between the second and the third one, it still felt like Spider-Man, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's my
I get what you're
that's
saying.
my little critique on
Which
on
I
that.
also will say too that might also have to do with different directors being there. Because like I said,
Yeah.
he was supposed to direct the second one too. You know what I mean? And versus like Spider-Man, for example, all three of those movies were John Watts. It was the same director for all three.
That's
So
probably
things like that make a difference too. But it's
Yeah,
also all
yeah.
Marvel. I don't know. Either way,
is a lot,
point
yeah.
point I'm making is I really liked the rule like the lack of rules that this played
Mm-hmm.
with Doctor Strange, especially because after this. I mean, yeah, I realized he's in a lot of MCU movies after this. Like, he was in Ragnarok and Infinity
Yeah.
War and Endgame and No Way Home. Like, a lot of shit.
Yeah, pretty much.
So they continue to play with that, which is pretty cool. But after this fight, it's the Ancient One who's hurt. And once she's being treated in the hospital, Strange and her meet on their astral plane, whatever. Mm-hmm. And this is kind of like the pinnacle, like the turning point for Strange, I would say. Because this is where she's telling him that, like, she's been avoiding death this whole time for, like, the betterment of the world. But, like, this is now her time to go. And, like, this is now the point where Strange must also now do what's best for the world and not solely for himself. Because it's when she says, it's not about you. Like, just those simple words
Yeah.
that, like, kind of is, like, feels like the turning point.
Yeah, and it's very blunt. It's very straightforward, but it's
Yeah.
exactly what he needs
What
to
he
hear
needed to
because
hear.
this entire thing, it's who he was is a self-centered, egotistical man
Like-
who thinks he's better than everyone else.
Right.
And by him being told by the Ancient One, "Hey, dude, the world does not revolve around you. So you have, yes, you do have more power than other people." But are you going to be selfish about that or are you going to do some good about that? I mean, you're a doctor. You claim to want to help people. What are you? Boom.
It's a good-
Dropping
it's a good
bombs.
point. Dropping bombs right there.
Yeah.
Yeah, because even when he would do things that were for other people, they were really for his own.
It's for his own greed. Yeah.
Yeah.
I want to say that it was mentioned by the Penguin, who, where he was like, "Oh yeah, I remember you. I came to you asking you to help me to get a surgery
Oh,
because I
yeah.
couldn't walk, and you turned me away. I didn't even get past your assistant because
Yeah.
you didn't want to look bad when you finished the surgery and I wasn't cured. So like,
Right.
yeah, he's been selfish this entire thing, and you've seen it in several different ways.
he starts to think moving forward in a different way. So he kind of, I will say, and it is, the scene was a little sad because I like the part where she like holds his hand and she's talking about like how she's like stretching out this moment for a long time and like everything around her is in
She's
slow
like, I just
mo.
wanna see the sun.
I was like, this it's kind of sad. I was like, damn. But she goes away, and he takes this realization.
No, that's over.
That's over with. She's gone. She's dead. She takes this realization to make things right with Christine, and that although things are good with them, it's like, okay, it's not time for them to. It's not in the cards for them right now, but that's cool. Like he's kind of apologized, made up for all that. He good. Yeah, he can move on. Yeah. He don't gotta think about her. Now they're in Hong Kong, right? Which also too, I had no idea they like built this entire set of Hong Kong like on their own, like 600 square foot stage is what I saw.
Really?
It looks super cool. Yeah.
That's really cool.
So they're up here. They pulled up to Hong Kong. Once Kai pulls up with his crew, Strange pulls up with his, and he pulls up with that time stone. Mm-hmm. And this is where he takes the opportunity to reverse time, like open up the time, and to before the Sanctum was destroyed in Hong Kong, which I will say all the visual effects of the main characters, they're fighting in real time while the environment around them is going backwards and frozen and like playing with time like that. I think they did a really good job on that. Cool. And once they do get to the point of them being stuck in that freeze frame kind of mode, Strange is like, I got an idea. I'm gonna go talk to Dormammu myself.
Dormammu.
Where Dormammu at? Flies to Dormammu. And it's like, Dormammu, I've come to bargain.
Which and is the one scene that I have just like have imprinted into my head that like I think about that scene so often and I don't know why. Maybe it's because it's the same thing over and over and over again.
100% that is.
I will
but it's
never
also
forget
hilarious.
It.
But it's hilarious because like I remember too before I rewatched this, the only two scenes I remembered when I saw this in the theater was like that first sequence when he like the opening your eyes thing, and the Dormammu have come to bargain.
Yeah.
And I remember like the laughter in the audience when like he just kept repeating because basically he stuck him and Dormammu in a time loop endlessly.
And like how at first, because he's this great being and like he like comes up to him and he's like, Dormammu, I want to bargain, and he's like, you've come to die. He kills him, comes back, and then Dormammu's like, well, wait a minute.
Wait, I know.
He like pauses mid-sentence.
He's like,
I've been through this
before. What is this?
Which there's definitely a comedic element to that, which I don't know if that's on purpose.
Oh no, I 100% think it is. I definitely think it is.
I think this is in the middle of like Marvel's stepping stone into like we are serious superhero action movies too. Like, okay, we're trying out comedy here and there.
Yeah, because
all of it lands.
I will say
it's pretty cheesy, and then just like straight up comedy.
Because I will say too, even though this movie isn't like a serious fucking melodrama, but it also doesn't rely on humor as much as other, like it's not as quippy and quirky, I guess, in that sense.
That's why I'm saying it's more of it was one of the stepping stones to get there. Like they weren't quite there yet. At this point, Thor was still not funny, which that's my gauge.
That's one of my favorite things they've done in the MCU is make him funny. I know some people probably don't like seeing him funny, but I think him being funny is amazing.
Yeah, I think it's
because he's such a bimbo. He's just like
yes, it makes it so much. It's more enjoyable for sure, and it's
I think so.
Especially after the second one.
I know, that second Thor is garbage.
Oh god.
But I don't, and it's like made him more vulnerable. I feel like as a character. I don't know. Anyway, we can talk about Thor.
I think so. But anyway,
before Love and Thunder comes out, we could definitely do Ragnarok or something because we gotta get into that.
I love that movie. If you couldn't tell.
No idea. But anyway, I love how more and more annoyed he gets as he's like continuing to kill him in so many different ways. Mm-hmm. But Strange is like, yo, I got you stuck in this loop. The only way you got to break it out, send your guys home. Like, get them the fuck out. Don't touch Earth ever again. Like, leave us alone. And Dormammu's like, oh, fine. Loop is broken. And Caecilius and the crew, what's his fucking name? Caillou.
Caillou.
They're gone for good. So I mean, the climax. I mean, there was some like fights going on in Hong Kong and everything, but really, it wasn't much of a big stakes
Yeah.
kind of, which is fine.
Yeah.
It's an introductory story for Doctor Strange.
It was
You
it's
know,
kind of odd the way that they set it up because it's like, okay, so you have like battle 1 with Caillou, and then you have battle 2 with Morbius. And
we need to do a Morbius episode dude, because
absolutely.
I forgot we saw it together. It was
It's
you, me.
Morbin time.
It's Morbin. Oh my god.
My favorite tweets. Oh my god. Anyway, so you have the two evils
Mhm.
set up from the movie, and it's like you have this big build up more with Caillou.
I'm just thinking about the stupid memes. It's because I literally have seen so many of those in the last like 2 weeks. I'm like, why is it now a meme?
Oh god, I can't even remember what the tweet was, but it had something to
it's
do
fine.
with Anya Taylor-Joy being in
Oh.
the second one, and it was absolutely ridiculous.
It was literally like I saw a fake article. It was like CNN saying Morbius 2 has been greenlit for Disney Plus and Paramount Plus and like all this kind of stuff. And it's this picture of Jared Leto just I'm like, what is going on right now?
It's
I don't know.
hilarious.
Anyway.
But anyway, yeah. So like I was saying, there's these two evils in the movie, and it's like there's a lot of mini battles leading up to Caillou, and then the big battle, which isn't necessarily a battle. It's more just like you annoy him until he gives up,
Yeah.
and then you come back, and then it's like you don't even have like that finishing move with Caillou. You're just more like you didn't read the rule books.
Oh
You
yeah.
know?
You didn't read yeah, you need to read the warnings after the spell.
Yeah, so I don't know. It just comes to a very, I don't want to say abrupt end, but it was
Anticlimactic, maybe?
anticlimactic, I think is a better way to describe it. Just a bit.
A little bit.
It's
Yeah.
just, I don't know.
Sure. Nah, I get that. But at this point though, they're gone, and then Mortal's like, bro, I can't do this shit anymore. Like y'all are breaking so many rules, and eventually, like, there's gonna be consequences, and they're gonna catch up to y'all. And I ain't gonna be here when they do. So peace. Basically, what he says.
Yeah.
And then after all that, the movie finally comes to an end. Him and Wong, they're in the New York Sanctum. There's no Sorcerer Supreme, and they're just talking about how Strange has a lot to learn, and they need to be ready for whatever threats are yet to come. Which Thanos, hello, and that's the movie.
And that
wait.
is them. Well, bonus.
Book
You got it.
courtesy. Can't forget. These post credit scenes are nothing special. First one is from Thor Ragnarok, which was a funny scene, which I remember seeing in the theater. It was cool because I don't think at this point we knew
No.
Doctor Strange was going to be in the movie yet. I don't think they had announced it yet.
Well, no, because at this point, this is our first introduction with Doctor Strange. No.
Yeah, but I don't know if they
Yeah.
at that point announced that he was going to appear in that movie yet because it was coming out the next year.
I don't keep up with that news, so either
Okay,
way, I
I
would have
do.
been like, "Oh my god!"
Yeah. Either way, though, yeah, I wasn't expecting to pop up in the post credit scene. It ended up being a pretty funny scene in the movie in Ragnarok. And then the second scene is the Penguin's powers being taken away by Mordo because he's like, we need less sorcerers in the world, and that's the movie. So
Yeah. And he goes, "It's Morbin time."
it's Morbin time, and then 10 out of 10 Marvel movie. No, yeah, but that's Doctor Strange right there. To be honest with you, the more we talked about it, some of the things I feel like I was really excited about with this movie, I kind of, which I
Calm
still
down a
really
bit.
I calmed down a little bit. I still like this movie a lot. I think I wasn't expecting to like it as much as I did rewatching it.
Yeah.
But now that I'm thinking about it, I was like, a lot of the things here that I thought I was excited for talking about, I feel like I felt that more in other Marvel movies. So I can't really put this on the same level. So
Yeah.
I'm with you that this is like good B tier Marvel.
Good B tier. It's not bad. It's not middle of the road necessarily, and it's
I wouldn't
not
even
the
no,
best
I
of
wouldn't,
the best.
I wouldn't even say it's middle of the road. I'd say it's a very
That's
good,
yeah.
very
It's
good
above
movie.
that. It's right. It's right above that.
It's right
And-
below
but right
great for me.
below great. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's right there in the middle. It's
Yeah.
almost there, but it just had a few pieces
Yeah.
that could have been adjusted. But on the same hand, on the other hand, not
On the same hand. Right.
on the other hand, it still has like so many new qualities in terms of it being like 2016 Marvel. I think that
Right.
that really adds to the overall quality of this movie. So in that case, and like I'm trying to think, did I think that the plot was good? I think so.
I like the I I look at it more of as like a journey for Strange's character, like introducing him
Yeah, I
into the
think that's
universe, having him change his life through these mystical arts and things like that, and him being a different because I will say
exactly, yeah.
he has not been this arrogant person 100% in the future movies like we've seen him in the beginning of this by far. You know what I mean? Like
No, he's
clearly
still very sarcastic.
he's still sarcastic and still
Yes.
has a bit of ego, but it's like that's fine.
Yeah.
But I think the person you see at the end of this movie is pretty much the Strange you see now, which I like that they've you know, you can tell he's
Yeah.
really did change as a character. So if you look at it like that, like as a way to introduce that character, introduce all these
I
crazy rules into the universe and multiverse, I think it does a really good job of doing that.
I do
So
agree. I do agree. That kind of put into words what I was trying to figure out, where it
yeah,
was like it wasn't so much the plot necessarily in terms of like who the villain was and what their purpose was and
that's all
how
kind
he
of
was
the
going to defeat them.
yeah.
It was kind of background noise
It's
for
all
the whole
kind of
thing.
irrelevant.
Yeah,
If you
the
really,
whole point is getting to see Doctor Strange, like you were saying, and his character growth and things like that. So
and
yeah,
just
so
world
definitely
building,
when
really
you look
for
at it
me.
like
Yeah.
that, I think it definitely did a really good job there. Um, yeah, like I said, it's not a bad movie. I enjoy it. I will definitely be watching this movie again. It's not my go-to Marvel movie.
No,
And I certainly like it a whole lot better than the second one. So, you know,
I don't know. I wouldn't say I like it a whole lot better, but I do prefer this one to that one for sure.
yeah.
But I will say there is
Say
a
that this
lot.
one has a good margin.
All those horror elements that you said scared the shit out of your baby niece.
Poor niece.
Those are my favorite parts of the new movie. Like I loved Sam Raimi's
I loved
like
I don't get me wrong, that in that aspect, I loved it. It was unexpected and it's definitely not some okay, so here's the thing. I love it because I love horror, but I didn't love how I
honestly
can't say it
what I
without like giving too
honestly
much away.
honestly what I didn't care for in the new one was just the story. Like I wasn't really invested in to me Wanda's for example, Wanda is kind of the main character in the movie. And I didn't feel like she really grew more as a character than she did at the end of WandaVision. And
Yeah,
so
no,
as
in
a
that
result,
case,
and
for
and then
sure.
Doctor Strange kind of takes a backseat. And so I don't know. So
Yeah,
story wise, it just didn't really hook me that much. But everything stylistically, I liked. You know what I mean?
stylistically is what I mostly had a problem with, funny enough. So
Future episode. Oh,
I
hey,
would,
oh,
yeah,
it's
I
gonna.
would really like
Hey,
to dive into that more.
no, that would be. I mean, it's obvious. It's definitely gonna hit Disney Plus in a few months,
Yeah,
whenever.
so
So we for
movie
sure do a
vibes.
deep dive on that. Anywho, as for this first movie, Martha, did you have anything else you wanted to say, or did you want to give your skull?
Yes, I had a pun, and I've been keeping it in my back pocket, or not my back pocket, my medical pocket. So let me
Oh, go
put
for it.
what's
Go
in
for
here.
it.
Hold on. I guess you could say that Cape was pretty capable.
That was honestly terrible.
Oh, genius! I'm so smart. I'm just wow. Yeah.
I don't think we're gonna make it to 50 episodes, y'all. So we appreciate
No,
your
I don't think
support thus
so.
far on the podcast. We
This is the
love
last
y'all.
time
We
we're doing this
appreciate
shit.
y'all. Yes. No. No. In all seriousness, what's your score here?
Um,
What you feeling?
I think I'm gonna give this movie a 7. 7 out of 10.
I'm feeling a 7 as well. I was at an 8. I think I calmed down a little bit to a 7. So I'm with you on the 7. I don't got a drink right now. Actually, wait, I do. Hold on one sec. Cheers to that.
You don't got the mugs. I kept those in the divorce.
You. Thank you. Appreciate that. There we go. So yeah, that's our thoughts on Doctor Strange, y'all. If y'all just to get y'all hyped for Multiverse of Madness, I can't wait for when that movie comes out,
Can't
bro.
wait for it to come out.
Go. Seeing an IMAX this weekend.
On,
I'm
on
so
Disney
excited,
Plus.
bro. Oh, Disney Plus, exactly. Anywho, then let's wrap up the episode today. Then, so we mentioned that next week's our 50th episode, and also a 100 subscriber kind of celebration. So we
we're gonna make it
decided
special.
we're gonna make it a little special. So we've done a few viewers polls in the past where like we'll just put some random movies in there. What's the you okay?
But like I said, there's a dog here. She's our special guest, Riley. And she decided to sit right on the curtain behind me,
Oh,
so you
and
can
I'll just-
see it's like moving.
Oh,
And,
okay, I
like,
see. I
it
see.
might just completely fall apart, so we'll see.
Oh no, that's totally fine. That would be great for my entertainment. We usually do these normal viewer polls. We'll put 4 random movies in there, and that's the winner. We're gonna take that formula, kind of spice it up a bit. So we're gonna run 2 separate polls. We're gonna have 4 movies that Martha wants to talk about, 4 that I want to talk about, and then the winner of those 2 polls will face off in one last poll. It's kind of an elimination kind of style thing.
Yeah, we're duking it out, you know?
We're duking
Whoever
it out
comes out
here.
on top.
Whoever comes on top. So my movie's gonna win for sure. I don't know which movie it's gonna be, but it's gonna beat
No.
Martha's. So
No. You've seen my choices. I think there's one underdog. There's 2 underdogs.
let's
I
look at
think.
let's just get into our list real quick.
Okay, yeah, we'll do that.
Martha,
Okay.
Martha's list. You have here. These are the 4 choices that are gonna be in Martha's primary poll. You have the Lego Batman movie. You have Lemonade Mouth.
Mm-hmm.
You have Band Slam, and you have the 1990s Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, the first film.
The live action one. Oh,
The live
God.
action 90s
The one with
Ninja
the
Turtles movie.
giant headed turtles. The best.
Hey, no political
Sorry.
campaigns right now. Let's not make it political right now, okay? There's not the time for that.
Oh, don't even.
Oh. Okay, that's a
Started
whole
there.
different. We're not gonna. Yeah, that's a whole different conversation. Anyway, my choices for films: we have La La Land, we have Joker, we have The Matrix, and we have Friday. So those are the choices.
So
There.
here's my one little thing. Because I don't know.
We're not
what-
debating right now.
No, I'm not debating anything. I just want to make a statement, okay? In terms of like the makeup of our audience, like, do we have a lot of like those like film bro people who are like, yo, movies, you know? Or is it more like 2 idiots? More so this kind of idiot who's like, Lemonade Mouth? This is cinema right there.
I'm more inclined to believe that because Cheetah
We're
Girls
two
won our
idiots.
last poll, and that too. Yeah.
It's true. Okay,
And I
so
think
that's why I'm like,
and I
you
think
know,
and I think 2 idiots kind of attracts naturally other
more
idiots coming. Right.
Exactly. Maybe
Right.
that's what we should call our fans, our little idiots.
Our little idiots. They are fucking they're morons.
Our little idiots.
Aw, idiots.
Thank you guys
Thank
for
you.
subscribing.
We have 136 idiots subscribed to our channel. Thank y'all so much for listening. Y'all are the biggest idiots. Y'all are the biggest idiots in the world, and we love y'all so much. That's perfect. I love
I'm
that.
gonna get on Twitter after being just like completely silent for several years, and I'm gonna be like, shout out to all my idiots out there.
Shout out to my idiots, bro. All right. Anyways, yeah. So those are the movies. We're gonna post them on the polls. I'm gonna run them pretty short, just so it gives us enough time to watch the movie and talk about it for next week. But yeah. So we will do those 2 separate polls. The one of Martha's movie is one of mine, and the winner of those 2 polls will put in one final poll, and the winner of that poll will be the movie we talk about on our next episode. So stay tuned on Twitter for all that kind of stuff. What else we got? If you want to be an idiot, subscribe to our YouTube channel. Help us get to 200. We're on the road to 200 subscribers right now, which is pretty crazy to say.
Yikes.
You can also find us on Spotify and Apple Podcasts. You can subscribe on there, leave reviews, tell us what you think, do all of that. And then finally, follow us on TikTok, Twitter, Instagram, and a wider screen. Join our fellow idiots on there as well. Hopefully our next episode we do in person. This being our 50th and everything. We'll
Yeah,
see.
that would make
We'll see if
sense.
it even is next week at this point. Who knows? You know what I'm saying? Right.
Who knows, man?
At
Life.
this point. But the fact that we were getting there is it's a pretty cool thing. So that's all I got to say this week. Martha, you got anything else? Or
Let's see if I can get Riley to say something. Hey, Riley, come up here. Come up here. You guys are gonna expect her to be like a tiny dog. She's freaking huge. Okay, she's decided she will not. And now she threw up. Okay, great.
all right. Okay.
She's camera shy. Anyway,
I get it.
bye.
Bye.